You don't really know much about Halloween.
Hello and welcome back to another unboxing video. I am your host Joel. I am one half of the Newlydeads, and if you are not sure who the Newlydeads are, please go to our website at thenewlydeads.com to check out all the information about who we are and what we do. We are a married couple who are artists. We also have a TV show called Dollar Store Drive-In that you can find on the following networks. I'll put all that information up here. It's a half-hour chat show where we watch a movie that we have found in the wild. There are other rules that go with it, but watch the episode to find out, and then we talk about it. So it is a half-hour commitment every week. Brand new episodes have been released. We just reached our 100 and where are we at? We're almost to 110 episodes that we've recorded at this point. Been doing this for 2 years now. That show, now the YouTube channel, which obviously you've already found, we've been doing that for about 2.5 years, and our goal for 2025 is to grow the channel. So please like, subscribe, and share if you like what you see here. We also do a podcast version of our Dollar Store Drive-In, and we write blogs, and like I said, there's a lot of content on the YouTube channel and on our website. If we're out doing any sort of events of any kind with our artwork, or we're doing any sort of other appearances of any sort, all that information will be there. If you'd like to reach us, you can do so at contact@thenewlydeads.com, or head on over to our Facebook channel where we update our content pretty much daily. I'm on there all the time. And you can reach out to us directly through Messenger, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. So for this video, I am unboxing 2 different box sets from Indicator Powerhouse, which is at this point probably my favorite Blu-ray label out there. Now I know I've got a subscription to Vinegar Syndrome. If you are watching the channel, you are well familiar with that, as I've talked about it at length. And I do love Vinegar Syndrome, don't get me wrong. But Indicator Powerhouse just has a very broad but very niche collection of things that they are putting out and they're restoring and whatnot, and just the transfers and the content itself is just beautiful. They do such a good job, and I am a fan of the label. I haven't had anything from them yet that I didn't like. So the first thing we have here is I gotta try and do this so that I can show you stuff over here. This is the El Vampiro box set, which includes El Vampiro and the Vampire's Coffin. I will try not to butcher the Spanish here, but these are both Mexican horror films. So the first one, I have El Vampiro, which is aka The Vampire from 1957, is about a Mexican girl who returns home for her aunt's funeral. She hears town rumors about vampires. She suspects her other aunt and neighbor are involved with the vampires. This is directed by Fernando Mendez, who did Los Hermanos Diablo and The Black Pit of Dr. M, which that is on another Indicator box set, Mondo Macabre box set, that I haven't actually gotten a chance to watch yet, but I've heard fantastic things about. It is on the shelf, and it is waiting to be viewed. This stars Jermaine Robles, who was in El Ninja Mexicano, and The Phantom Gunslinger. Both sound fantastic. Got to check those out. A little trivia, though, about this. Although it was considered by many to be the first film to feature a vampire with elongated fangs, 5 years earlier, the Finnish film, The White Reindeer from 1952, had a vampire with long, sharp canines, which that is also on the shelf. That was just recently released in the All the Haunts Are Ours box set 2 from Severin Films. So if you haven't, you can go check out my video on that, also on this channel. I'll try to remember to put a link here, but if not, it's easy to find. The other film in here is El Etoile. See, I already told you I was going to mess this up. El Etoile del Vampiro. I know I butchered that. I'm sorry. AKA The Vampire's Coffin. That's easier to say for me. It's from 1958. So the plot of this film is that grave robbers stumble upon the tomb of a vampire who turns them into zombies to do his bidding, which is to stalk and capture beautiful women. seems plausible. This is directed by Fernando. I can't say Fernando Mendez. I just said it 2 seconds ago. Same director as El Vampiro, who is also known for The Body Snatcher and Los Diablos del Terror. This stars also, again, Germain Robles, who is in The Curse of Nostradamus, and The Brainiac, which is another one on that Mondo Macabre box set, which I'll put the information up here. So, because I highly recommend you check it out. I've heard nothing but good things about it. So some trivia here. There is a smiling skull and crossbones insignia on the posters and lobby cards with the words recommended by Young America Horror Club. There was no such organization. It was an invention of producer K. Gordon Murray to boost ticket sales. That is a William Castle sort of move. So kudos to them. So on the back here, we have information about the film. Indicator always does a nice layout with the plots, the background, the special features, etc. Always well done. Inside, we have originally on this, the Indicator Powerhouse stuff always has this very specific rainbow-looking label, and this, of course, would have sat underneath it. And yes, I'm the nerd that saves these. Inside, we have the cases themselves, which are cardboard cases. I don't love this style of case. I'll be perfectly honest with you. But, I'm sure it's a cost-saving measure, I would assume. But they are sometimes kind of fragile and are just not really my thing. I would prefer just a regular case. But that's just me, because if something happens to this, you can't replace it. You're stuck. Then we have for El Vampiro, this beautiful looking poster on the front. On the back, we have information, of course, about the film. Inside, we have the Blu-ray, and then, of course, again, some stills from the film on the back. And I'm sorry, I'm creeping around the side here. Along with this, and I've talked about this at length on my other videos, we have this wonderful booklet, which I love that they take the time to put these together. I just wish I had more time to actually dig into them and read them. There are just only so many hours in the day. I will kind of skim through this because it is a rather hefty little booklet. So it's got information about each one of the films, some stills from that, some interviews, some essays. It's a really nice collection. So if you are not familiar with these films, you will be by the time you're done. If you're not familiar with, genre films from this time period in this, it's a lot of great information to have. So I always am thankful for all the work they put into these releases, because a lot of these films wouldn't necessarily have received the love that they did if it wasn't for somebody taking the time to say, hey, these are genre films that really deserve a wider audience. And they take the time to, put in the effort to do something like this. So nice job. Real nice job, Clark. Real nice. All right. The second one we have here is the Columbia Horror box set, which I do have the label still on here. And one of the things about this on the back, I didn't show you on that one. You may have seen it in there, but it tells you, if these are limited prints, it tells you what number you are, which if you are a serious collector, that might make a difference to you. I enjoy having them in my collection, and I'm one of those people that once it's here, it's not going anywhere. At least that's not the intention. But we will get into that more here in a minute. So in this beautiful box set, we have the first film is Behind the Mask from 1932. This is about an undercover federal officer serving time in prison who fakes his escape in order to infiltrate a heroin smuggling ring. This is directed by John Francis Dillon, who did The Finger Points. This stars Jack Holt from Cat People from the 1942 version. It also stars Boris Karloff from, of course, Mad Monster Party. How can you forget that one? A little bit of trivia here. Part of the Son of Shock package of 20 titles released to television in 1958, which followed the original Shock Theater release of 52 features 1 year earlier. This was also the first of 11 Columbia titles, the other 61 all being Universal. So if you are familiar with horror hosts at all, Shock Theater is what started that trend when the studios were trying to figure out what to do with a lot of their titles. They released them as these packets that they sent off to local stations, which then tried to figure out a way to show them, and thus the horror host was born. So a little bit of trivia there for you that on my own. The next film in here is Black Moon from 1934, which I love, 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 love. Old black and white horror films. The plot of this is a young girl escapes a voodoo sacrifice of parents on tropical island. It's a weird sentence. I did not write that. I've got that from somewhere else. Years later, compelled to return with her family, the locals revere her as a voodoo goddess, driving her insane, leading to her family's demise. Sounds like the whole plot. Sorry about the spoilers. It's from 1934, though, so yeah. This was directed by Roy William Neill, who did Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. This stars Fay Wray, yes, that Fay Wray from Mystery of the Wax Museum, which is on the shelf, and Dr. X, which is also on the shelf. Which, if you've never seen those films, do yourself a favor. Go see those films. A little bit of trivia here. Not counting mystery films, this marks the final horror film of Fay Wray's career. Ray had been considered one of horror's first and best scream queens and is undoubtedly best remembered for her contributions to the genre. This film left little impression on star Fay Wray. In an interview some years later after making the film, she admitted that she had little memory, if any, of making the film at all. She had essentially forgotten that she appeared in it. Ray also claimed that she never watched the film at any point in her life. Not really a big endorsement of the project, but fun nonetheless. Next one. Now, this is the one that is a little bit contentious because it's not really a horror film, but it's called Airhawks from 1935, in which a mysterious ray that immobilizes all motors and engines threatens the security of the country. Sounds a little bit more of like a spy drama thriller sort of thing, but it is directed by Albert S. Rogel, who did The Hellcat, and stars Ralph Bellamy, yes, that Ralph Bellamy, from His Girl Friday, and you probably remember him from Trading Places. I didn't put that one up here, but see if my memory is working properly. No trivia on this, other than that this is included on the set for some reason, and a lot of people aren't sure why. Next, we have Island of Doomed Men from 1940. This is about an undercover agent, Mark Sheldon, who gets paroled to a remote tropical island with a diamond mine manned by slave labor, run by sadistic Stephen Daniel. This is directed by Charles Barton, who did Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein. There's a whole box set that's actually coming out of all the Abbott and Costello horror films, which, if you have the complete Universal Monsters box set, you have all of them, or not Universal. It's on the shelf. I'll put it up here. There's the Legacy Collection. If you've got the complete set of all of those with all the Universal Monsters, you've got, I believe, all of the Abbott and Costello films. What did I say? Oh, yes, this is stars Peter Lorre, who was in Arsenic and Old Lace, which I did the stage production of that in high school, actually. Trivia. Shooting began on March 5th of 1940 and was released May 20th, 1940. That is a quick turnaround time. Next up, we have Cry of the Werewolf from 1944. This is about a young woman who is raised by gypsies, who hides a deadly secret with which she will do anything to protect. This is directed by Henry Levin, who did The Devil's Mask, and stars Nina Foch, who was in The Return of the Vampire. Classic vampire film. Check it out if you've not seen it. A little bit of trivia here. During the opening credits and scenes early in the film, in order to get the wolf to repeatedly open and close its mouth as if it were barking or chewing, they put a rubber band around its muzzle. This was also Henry Levin's first film. So, I guess a spoiler here, there's not really a werewolf. There's just a wolf/dog type creature that probably was not treated the best at the time. Just saying. And finally, we have The Soul of a Monster from 1944. This is about a famous surgeon who lies on his deathbed, and his wife calls on unknown powers to save him. A strange woman appears from nowhere and takes control. George recovers, but he's mysteriously dominated by the woman and leaves his wife. When the evil woman tempts him into letting his best friend die, he realizes that she wants his soul in exchange for the ability to continue living. This is directed by Will Jason, who did Shotgun Slade, which was a TV show in 1960. It was a Western show with a private eye. Interesting concept. It stars George McCready, who was in The Golden Blade. And a little bit of trivia here. In 1944, Soul of a Monster was often coupled with Cry of the Werewolf to make a double bill in both small town venues as well as big city neighborhood theaters. So if you want to, you can watch them as a double feature and take yourself back to that time. So on the back, we have information about the film, as again, Indicator Powerhouse does. They've got all the list of the films that are inside the set. Then we open this up, and again, not a fan of this style of casing, but again, it is what it is. So we've got Cry of the Werewolf. Realize my face is seen. In the back, we've got information about the film. We've got that lovely indicator Powerhouse rainbow there. Inside, we have the disc itself, and we have the poster and image from the film. So we've got Cry of the Werewolf and Soul of the Monsters. We have 2 movies on that disc. Next up, we have Airhawks, which is a great name for a film, but again, sounds a little bit more like a wartime thing than a horror film. But then we've also got The Island of Doomed Men, which we've got a lovely picture of Mr. Peter Lorre there. And on the disc, it's got that same photo, so I'll just save you this shiny reflection that will blind you and leave you unable to watch the rest of the video. Inside, we have Behind the Mask, which I am so excited for all these. The box that they put out that kind of sold me on them is the box set that I'm going to draw a blank on. So while I'm pulling this up, I'm going to try and get it to pull up in my brain. Inside, we have there not Todd Browning, Todd Slaughter, the Todd Slaughter box set. Probably my favorite release and pickup of the last couple of years. It's just so good. I watched the whole thing back to front. And if you're not familiar with Todd Slaughter, it's a great way to start. So inside, we have such a lovely black and white photo. We've got a rather chunky booklet here that talks about Columbia horror. Inside, we have some stills, again, from the film. I will go through page by page. But information about each one of the films, stills, background info, essays, etc. It's just a real comprehensive thing, and ooh, smells like fresh book. Gotta love the smell of the fresh book. I am, as if you can't already tell, I'm very excited about this set. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that has to be part of the collection, especially after the Todd Slaughter box set was just such a big win. And it's funny that the booklet is almost as big as 2 of the discs in the set. That's a lot. So anyway, that is it for this unboxing video. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. Please, again, if you have the time and you would like to like, share, and subscribe, that is much appreciated. Help us to grow the channel and get more people to get eyes onto this kind of specific content that I enjoy. And hopefully you enjoy it as well. So until next time, remember that tomorrow is not guaranteed, so don't forget to unbox your heart. See you soon.
Should be done, you see, between the real and the unreal. The dead might be looking in. Halloween, the festival of Samhain. Happy Halloween.